Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to the first set of actual real notes that we will do in this class, at least as far as presentation of information, and looking specifically at a skill today. When I thought about what I wanted to the direction I wanted to kind of take this class early on and what I wanted to focus on for this kind of like review aspect of this class, has a lot of this information, a lot of things that you're going to do, particularly for the first, I would say up until progress reports, are going to be basically a review of things that you did in middle school. I wanted to look at the kind of basics of geography, finding where things are and understanding how things are shaped. So looking at longitude and latitude and absolute location, and then looking at landforms, which will start tomorrow. So why is latitude and longitude important? Well, it kind of gives you an exact spot on the globe or on Earth's surface. You can identify any spot on Earth, ocean, land, polar ice caps, using the latitude and longitude. It gives you an exact location on Earth or on a map. Latitude and knowing those numbers of latitude can also help you kind of understand a location's particular climate. For example, the higher the latitude is, whether it's north or even south, the colder it's going to typically be, just based off of knowing that it's further away from how the sun hits the Earth. Looking at latitude and longitude, you can see that latitude with the equator there almost looks like a ladder. That's why we say latitude is like a ladder. It's going to run horizontally around the globe. Look at that, a presentation with bells and everything. You almost feel like you're at school. So latitude are lines that run horizontally, and it's measured in degrees. And they measure in degrees when you think of like a compass. And you're measuring things on a compass. If you've done geometry or you know anything about geometry, if you're taking geometry or will be taking geometry at some point, you're looking at measuring things in the degrees because, again, Earth is round. So in order to measure things around, we use degrees as a way to measure things. Equator is always going to be 0 degrees, and then it goes up from there, heading towards the North Pole, and then eventually heading towards the Southern Pole. The equator is always going to be 0 degrees latitude, and it runs across the center of the Earth, and it divides us into a northern and southern hemispheres. Between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, we are going to have our tropical zone within the U.S. You can see Florida's just slightly outside of that. I think maybe the very, very southern tip of Florida actually falls within that tropical zone. But we're talking about, this is where you're going to find your rainforest, your kind of hot, moist climates, with the exceptions of parts of Africa, particularly when you get further north, where you're going to see the Sahara and that tropical zone. But again, around the equator, it's going to be hot and it's going to be wet with lots of rain. Longitude, the lines are long and they run vertically. And once again, we're measuring a circle, a globe in a sense, but it is round, so we use degrees to measure around it. And we have the prime meridian that's down at 180 degrees and divides the Earth into east or west. So latitude is going to go up to 90 degrees. That's going to be the North Pole and the South Pole. And the prime meridian is going to go around to 180 degrees. So here's some examples using a map in your book, starting on page 8A. We're going to try to use latitude and longitude. And these are just some examples. Southampton Island, Warsaw, Poland, and Dakar, Senegal. Once you're able to locate those using the maps in your book, again, in your book, starting on 8A, you see a series of maps that has it has a world map, and then it has maps of the different regions. You can use that to those to identify where those places are. After that, I want you to be able to find the center of the United States, the center of India, the Galapagos Islands, and Iceland. And I want you to write out their location using the formula that you see above. 65 degrees north, 85 degrees west is an example of how you would write out that information of a location on a map. Now, we're not going to get into degrees and minutes. Again, a bell. Getting that being at school feeling. But it should be written out properly. Again, the number, the degree symbol, north, comma, the number, the degree symbol, and then west. If it's in the south, you'll put south, and if it's in the east, you'll put east. Now, where are these places located? Well, Southampton Island is actually located in Canada on Hudson Bay, so it's really far north. You can kind of tell that by that 65 degrees north. As I said, North Pole is 90 degrees, so we start at 0. So yeah, 65 degrees would be really far north, relatively cold there. And then 85 degrees west is going to put you in the Western Hemisphere. Warsaw, Poland is in the middle of Europe. Poland falls between Germany and Belarus, east of Russia. And then Dakar, Senegal, which partially covering up, is on the western tip of Africa. And then the estimated coordinates, again, you don't have to have these exact numbers where you kind of picked where the center of the state is, or the country is. For the United States, I just picked Kansas City. That's 40 degrees north and 95 degrees west. Center of India being 22 degrees north and 78 degrees east. The Galapagos Islands are 1 degree south, so it's almost right there on the equator, and 91 degrees west, which means it's on west of South America. Kind of South Central America, but it's most part South America. And then Iceland, 65 degrees north and 19 west. Iceland and Southampton Island, if you're kind of wondering about the climate of those two places, fall along the same line of latitude. So they're both relatively cold places. All right, so for your assignments, we're going to have a world latitude and longitude. I really did not pick the best time to record this, but I've had to record like 8 of these today. So we're just going to keep the bells in there. World latitude and longitude activity. If you are working at home on Schoology, you will see this assignment in there. It actually has 2 attachments to it that you will have to, one of them you will have to print out is the world map. That way you can actually record your answers and everything. You don't have to print out the other paper. You can kind of look off your computer. For that is actually the instructions for this assignment. But using the handout for latitude and longitude, you're going to follow and answer the questions of 1 through 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to be looking at oceans and things like that. And number 5 is going to be marking and denoting numerous places on the map that you will get and everything. You can use colored pencils and markers, whatever you think is going to be best to help you identify the information. You only have to write down initials because the map isn't huge. You're talking about a single sheet of paper that's 11 and a half by 8 or 11 by 8.5. So the map's relatively small, so I'm not going to have you write down every single location's full name, but more than enough just to write out the initials and everything. The initials are all different, and they're already kind of noted there for you. My class will let my class kind of talk quietly amongst themselves while I work on this. They can also help each other a little bit as well. Now, with these assignments and everything, they are due if you are online or if you are in hybrid model. They are due and submitted through Schoology the next day. So today is Thursday. It's being assigned on Thursday. It means this assignment is due on Friday. What time Friday? By 5 o'clock on Friday. And I'll put that on that should be on the assignment as a due date and due time to submit that work. So for this assignment, how you're going to submit it after you've done it, if you can find a way to manipulate it and answer the questions on the computer and everything and submit it that way, fantastic. But if you print it out and answer the questions that way, you can take a picture of the assignments and upload it through Schoology, or you can scan the assignments and upload it through Schoology that way as well. Thank you. You guys have a great night, and have a good one.